Everyone, welcome to Success Stories in Private Practice. This is one of your hosts, Kelly Higdon. Thanks for joining us today. I am looking forward to diving in with Pamela Moore-Jones. She is a licensed clinical social worker and owner of Art of Therapy Counseling Consulting Services. And she does telehealth in California and Nevada. She really has a beautiful way of working with people who've experienced a lot of trauma, anxiety, and depression, and really working with people who are always helping everybody else, but really need to start taking care of themselves. So we're going to explore her journey in practice, and we hope that you are inspired. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm excited to be here.
How long have you been in practice?
I've been in private practice for 12 years. Yes.
Why private practice? There's many things you could be doing. Why this?
Well, I kind of had the opportunity to start off knowing that I wanted to counsel youth. And so my journey was to do every job in human and social services until I found what really worked for me. And I think back, if I had been a counselor doing the things I do back then, I probably wouldn't have the experience, the understanding, and the compassion that I kind of got along the way, working in group homes, working in homeless shelters, working with hospice. And so finally, with all that experience, I thought, maybe I can share this in a different way to kind of lead how I work with people on their own journey. And so
go ahead.
As I became more mindful, then my goals to return to private practice with some skills, knowledge, and experience became like a burning desire. Yeah.
What do you think is unique about you and the way you do private practice?
I think what's unique is I come from an artistic point of view. And so I see the world eclectically. And so I'm able to kind of meet people where they're at. I don't have a defined idea of how therapy has to go for a specific person. I know it's going to be challenging, but yet too, what is that person's skills and ability, and what do they bring, and support that.
I think that is something I noticed, like whenever I talk with you, of how you see people in the world. It's this really beautiful, curious approach, and is never, there's a lot of humility there. But it's never been about, like when we've talked about your work in the past, it's never been about, oh, I have this certification and I use these techniques or any of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why I probably do that is a lot of the clients I meet, we start building a trust initially. And so I want to be as transparent and authentic as I can be. And I don't talk that way at home. I don't talk that way in social settings. And so when I'm meeting people where they're at, I'm also aware of what their needs are and how they communicate best. So,
what has it been like for you to show up as yourself in your business? Where has that been a challenge, or where have you found ease with it even? I mean, your story, your way of being, how does that show up for you?
Well, initially it showed up where I was willing to do everything for everybody and every position and, manage everything. And so that's how I kind of showed up as being dependable in every way. And so now as my practice has matured and I've matured, I think that I've learned to be the wind beneath the wings. I think that I come from a more perspective of honor. That's been a word that's kind of come to my attention this week, that I honor my clients and I honor myself. Mm-hmm. And when I do that, my clients are impacted.
What does it look like to honor yourself in your business?
Well, I'm getting excited because one of the biggest things was joining the TAP program.
Mm-hmm. For people that are listening, they don't know what that is, but it's one of our coaching programs.
Yes.
Where there's accountability coaching for people who have been through business school, but who want to continue to get support.
Yes. Initially, when I was doing everything in my business, eventually my business took off and I was working really hard. But I noticed the only time I really communicated with others was at a conference or when I would see someone for a short training. And so I was very isolated. And so I think what happened was I found Zenny Me, and Zenny Me found me. And it gave me information, support, encouragement, and a team of people to kind of help me in the ways that I knew I needed help, but never asked. So I think that's the ease in my business, is getting support, getting education, information. And it's not in the way that Zenny Me or anyone else wants to give it to me. It's available for me to honor myself and take the information and use it in the ways and in the time that works for me.
Right. I think that's something that's maybe a more mature approach of, I think when we start our practices, we have this timeline, this expectation, this drive, this initial, I'm going to get going, and we run towards some sort of finish line. But there's something about honoring your own timeline and really being more in tune to your body, your energy, your circumstance, all of those kinds of things, and understanding that it's unique to you and being okay with it.
I'm going to agree. And for the first 12 years of my business, I did that. I ran. I had all these ideas and I didn't have a moment to breathe. I walked around with my business in my heart and on my shoulders. And now I am walking around with a 5-year plan. I don't have to rush. I don't have to think about it all day, every day. I have time set up that I can do the things I need to do, and I know it's going to get done, instead of carrying all of these things around in my mind and working for the first 12 years just like a maniac.
Why do you think you did that? Like, what informed that? Is it capitalism? Is it systems? What is it for you that?
For me, it was the wanting to help others. It was not recognizing the more I honored myself, the better I could help others. I wanted to, meet everyone who came into my door and be able to, support them on a path to wellness. And, soon into it, I realized I couldn't do that. I can't help everyone, and I can't specialize in everything. But when do I get the time to step back and review my business to figure out where I do want to go? And I think I was so busy doing that, and I feel good about what I've done up until now. But I feel amazing to kind of put myself ahead and, make the choice to live with ease and work with ease. And I can see it in my clients and how they are motivated and excited as these changes happen throughout my business.
That is really something that I don't feel we talk enough about is the clinical impact of your own personal development alongside your business development. That actually what you do in your business does make a difference in the clinical work. And when you have more ease, how can that not show up in the relationship?
I definitely see that. And
Mhm.
I think, when you're so busy, you know that, and you kind of look over it because your business, at least mine, is like my baby. It represents me and it represents the work that I do. So I think if I took a break in the past, it was because I was overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And I think now I take a break because I've planned it. I manage my life. I know that break is coming, or I can plan for it in a different way. And
Mhm.
so I really see how having a plan, having processes in place, having support
Mhm.
has really impacted and made a big difference in how I do the work that I do and how I see myself growing in the future. A
Yeah.
lot of those dreams and goals I had when I first started, other than just seeing clients one on one, I'm able to take time to do some of those things.
Mhm. How would you define success now in private practice?
For me, success is inner peace,
Mm.
knowing how to find that space mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually to stay in sync in a healthy way for my clients and myself. That's
Mhm.
success to me. Because if I do that, everything else is, you know, gonna work out. It
Mhm.
has and it will.
So let's say someone's listening to this and says, "That's nice inner peace. How do I find that?" What would you say?
I say for everyone, it's different. But for me, what I've learned over at least the last few months that's brought me closer to inner peace is to do self checks, something I didn't take time to do before, to really evaluate myself mentally in this moment. How am I doing? Physically, how am I doing? Is my body okay? Emotionally.
Mhm.
And of course, for me, spiritually.
Mhm.
And so when those things aren't comfortable, I check and I go, well, what can I do? Or what area do I need to address?
Mhm.
But what I've also learned, it's okay to take time for yourself to
Mhm.
rest, regroup.
Mhm. When have you needed to really take that lesson into account? I mean, in 12 years, I'm sure you've had moments where you're like, okay, I need to stop here for a second. When does that come up for you?
Um, Now that I kind of am able to look at what some of the barriers are, um, just maybe from my past, I think taking a break is something that I still get to work on. I still get to figure out,
Mhm.
and it can be different. But the thing I do know over this last year prior to coming to Zenny Me, I was happy to be called the queen. I was happy to be called strong. My business was called Resilient One.
Mhm.
And what I do know now that I didn't know then is there is an edge. There's a place where you can break that I thought I would never ever reach. And so when I say taking time, yes, now I can take time, but it took forced time. It took a break of me saying, okay, this ain't working, and everybody around me saying it's not working. and not having a resolution and completely breaking so that I could rebuild. And so my journey in my business is rebuilding myself, rebuilding my practice, and supporting my clients in building their lives and creating the lives that they want.
Right. I mean, that's the truth about our work with clients, is that life is going to pivot, and there will always be moments that will break. There will be moments that break you, and it's an opportunity to rebuild, to redefine success. So 12 years ago, Pam might have defined success in private practice as being busy.
Yes.
And being strong, which, is part of that unfortunate view that we have towards especially Black women of like, oh, I admire your strength. Well, okay.
Well, those brownie points are not necessary anymore. I don't need to be strong. I need to be healthy.
Yes. So moving, like in 12 years' time of having life happen and then having those breaking points allows you to rebuild into a new definition of success.
Definitely. And, honestly, sometimes when you start out, I felt like I should know everything. I felt like, oh, I'm doing this. I shouldn't have to ask this. Where can I find it? So I was constantly searching and inventing the will and those type of things. And, honestly, I think I could have avoided the breaking point in the way that it happened if I had taken care of myself in a different way.
Sure.
And now I can really say that to my clients. Before, I didn't realize that I had a breaking point. I thought I could do it all. And so now I work with people to prevent ever getting close to that point, and making sure that we're checking in, not just, how are you today, but really assessing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Another example of how our story can influence the work that we do, right? The gift and the wound, right?
Of course. Yeah.
My hope is that for whoever is listening can really take in that it's a lifelong process and journey that will not just provide for you financially or whatever, but it will also give you an opportunity to grow personally
and evolve if you want to,
if you let it.
Especially, and I think the vulnerability of being able to get help and say, I don't know everything. And to also be able to tell the people that I work with that it's always an opportunity to learn and grow if you want it. And so for me to set forth this example in my life and in my work, I'm excited.
What are you excited about this next year in your practice?
Well, I'm excited to probably publish a journal, a faith-based journal, where you can do art. Over the last year, I didn't realize it, but each week I was writing up some prayers and thoughts and devotions, and look what happened. I'll probably be doing that and revamping my website so it's more accessible to anyone who wants to reach out. And I also think I'll be traveling because I was able to, with Zenny Me, begin to manage my entire business electronically. And so anywhere I go, I am accessible. And I think that is great for my clients because they know that I'm dependable pretty much I'm going to be available within reason as we develop, their treatment plan. So I'm just really excited at the possibilities and to do a little bit more off the couch. I love podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a talker.
I think if anyone's listening, they will know. You can feel the ease in your voice, but also hear, because I can see you on camera, like the way you hold yourself it's so much more peace. And I love to see that. And I'm so happy for you that you have found what feels easeful for you.
I really have, and it's definitely exciting. And it's exciting to see this reflected in my clients and the work that I do, and just in the community activities I'm involved with. I do a lot of work with, just the queer community. And so because of that, I'm out and about, and just the positivity and sharing in the hope.
So if someone's listening to your story and they come to you and say, Pam, after 12 years of doing this, what's the biggest lesson you can share? What would that be? Or one of the lessons. No pressure for the biggest.
Okay. I think my biggest lesson has been to trust and honor myself. In this work, I know I have the best intentions. I know I'm not going to see clients that I'm not able to help. So if I'm doing and working in my best self, and I believe in that, that's the most important thing. And so I would just say, believe in yourself, trust yourself. Because if you got into this and you're doing the work, you can be amazing. And so I guess that's what I would share.
Thank you, Pam, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And for those of you listening, Pam mentioned getting more support. We have over 15 hours of free training at zynnyme.com/free. We also have our business school and other places where we really do curate community to be a place where there's not competition, but instead a sharing of knowledge and encouragement for each other. And I mean, wouldn't you like to be encouraged by Pam? My gosh, she's just like sweet, honey, warm, lovely, and really passionate and caring about the work she does. So we hope to see you next time on the podcast. Thanks for being here, Pam. See you all later.